G'day everybody and welcome to another Down Under Centre Migrating to Australia podcast. My name's Wes Zan and today I'm joined by Leigh and Michael Chadwick. So Leigh and Michael, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Hey Wes.
So Leigh, you're becoming a bit of a regular on the podcast. Hence the reason why we're bringing your partner Michael into this podcast. And today, listeners, we're going to we heard Leigh's version of what life's like married to a miner who's working in the mines. And now what we're going to do is hear Michael's sort of side of the story. Because, Michael, you've been accused of eating all the cookies, taking cookies from the kids and really taking advantage of all the good food in the house, mate. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, I am aware of it. But like I say to Leigh all the time, I'm only back for 6 days. And you don't really get those luxuries at work anyway. So when I do come back, I do like to sort of indulge in all these luxuries, like the cookies, the biscuits, Oreos. Oreos is a good one for me.
Yeah, we all have our poison, mate. Well, look, good. Firstly, thanks for taking the time, mate, because it is important that the listeners get to hear, I guess, what it's like, because I guess being a miner or working in what do you call yourself a miner? What would you say your occupation is?
I'm actually a shot firer. So I'm obviously originally when I first got the job, it was it's a drill and blast sort of department. And yeah, sort of I just went in as blast crew, and then from blast crew, I just ended up working my way up from blast crew up to doing shot firing now. So basically running all the shots, so it's a massive change from what I was doing in the UK. To think that when I was in the UK, to think, maybe like 4 years down the line, I'll be doing shot firing in Australia. I'd never ever in a million years actually think that I would be doing shot firing. But I didn't even know what shot firing was. So yeah, to think.
Just explain that to the people. What is it?
So for shot firing, basically you're just running the crew. So pretty much what we do is obviously you get the drillers that come in, they drill all the holes. Just quickly as well, it's iron ore that we're doing on the site. It's just all iron ore. And so the drillers come in, they drill the holes. And we basically just stick sort of a booster and a detonator, which a booster is pretty much sort of like TNT. And then, you have your detonator in there. And it's all like electronics now as well. So obviously then we load bomb on top, which ammonium nitrate, that would be one. And obviously, once you sort of like mix all these components together, obviously it's, it can be quite dangerous, obviously, if it was to go off. Like I said, it's all electronics. We all program all the debts, and it's all done with timings. And pretty much we just set it off, and everything goes bang, and that's it. And then once that's done, it's down to sort of diggers digging away the dirt. And then it gets shipped off to China.
Interesting. So obviously the mining industry in Australia is pretty big. Let's just go back as far as we can to get an understanding. So you're the main applicant. You're a carpenter by trade. You've done your skills assessment. Leigh explained how much you love doing the English test. You then arrive in Australia. You get a job working as a carpenter. From there, let's talk about your first job and how you got started working in the mines.
Yeah, so the first job that I actually had here was for a cabinet maker. And that was at the time actually that jobs were really hard to get actually in Western Australia. It's not like it is now where it's pretty easy for anyone to come over and get a job quite easily. It was actually quite hard in Western Australia. So I got my cabinet maker's job, sort of running the manager's side of that really, just managing the team there. And then, from there, that was sort of just a job just to see me through really. I wasn't really enjoying it. And then I got a coordinating role within the construction industry. But that was more commercial work, and that wasn't really my forte. But obviously I was all residential normally.
Okay.
And then pretty much like our neighbours across the way from us, they he works up in the mines. He's a supervisor, and he sort of just said, look, I might be able to get you the job. And I was sort of overdoing what I was doing anyway, and I just thought maybe just have a change, maybe just a career change might be good. Especially at sort of my age, I was thinking, what was I then? 30, 31, coming up for 32 probably. And I just thought maybe now's the right time to change if I am going to have a career change. Otherwise, if I leave it too late, there's not really much point. Like obviously he got back to me, and ended up I got the job, I just took it, and I thought, why not? Why not? We might have just different experience, really, to see what it's like.
So a lot would have happened, mate, from the interview process to getting the job, and I guess would be fair to say you have to have a lot of certificates to get into the mining, like health and safety, or nothing was required, just a white card. Just run through that process, mate.
So you do a medical before going in. So I have my medical, and there's not really too much else involved in it, really. I mean, originally I went through as a contractor for a company called Brunel, and then that's how I first got my role. That's what most mine sites normally do. They normally go down the contract side of it. So if you're not any good, it's sort of easier for them to sort of say, "Nah, your time's done. You've done your 6 months, and that's it. You're done." Or
Okay.
They do like you, and you do really well. That's when they will sort of take you on. I mean, like the phrase up there is, you get your shirt, which basically means you get employed by the employer. So I work for FMG, so I got taken on by FMG like back in March, and obviously, for me that's good. I'd much rather be sort of employed by FMG than a contractor. One, we get bonuses every year, and it's more about job security as well, plus annual leave as well you get. So as a whole, FMG is a great company to work for as well. Really, really good company. I can't see myself leaving. I can't see myself doing anything else. I'm so used to doing what I do now. I think it would be really strange to go back to the normal Monday to Friday 9 to 5 jobs.
All right. So health and safety was just a medical done. No, for the role you're doing at the moment, you didn't need to hold any Australian qualifications or anything like that?
No, like none at all. No, you just literally, it was just simply a medical. You get your dangerous goods card as well. And that was it. Literally, that's it. There's no white card or anything. It's literally just a dangerous goods card because you're working with explosives. And then obviously just your medical to make sure that you are fit to go work. I mean, obviously the last thing they want at, say, FMG or any sort of mining company is they don't want you to turn up unfit for work and have an injury, and then it's sort of on them and they're liable. So they need to make sure that you are fit and healthy to work.
Yep. And do people not get the shirt, mate? Is it would you say it's like 50% like get the shirt and they love it, or is it 80%? It's a big turnaround?
I mean, like mining 100%, there is quite a big sort of turnaround, and that's not just with regards to you being contractor or sort of employed. I think that's just the nature of the beast, really. It's you see big waves. You see waves of people coming through, new people, and then suddenly you see a big wave of people just leaving, and then more people joining. But then you do get the people who will say, like myself, and you get other people who sort of do stick around. They're the ones that are there all the time. They're the usual ones. So I don't know. Like I said, you do get big turnarounds, but turnovers, shall I say? But I think that's just how it is. I think that's not just where I work. That's just mining in general.
And a miner's doing it. I mean, do you said a career change? You've been and you're a carpenter for how long, mate?
Oh, like since I left school. I mean, like it really is probably 18 maybe. I think 18.
About 13 years. You're a carpenter, and then you've made the career change. And is part of the money that you're earning? That's probably is that like the best part of the being a miner, or is it more of the time that you work allocated to work and the time you get off? What's the perk for you?
Probably both what you touched on there, actually. 100% the money. The money is good for what we do. I mean, like technically...
Michael, I've got to ask, mate, what are you roughly on, mate, a year?
So including superannuation, at the moment, my salary is just over 153 a year. But that's with FMG, you pay 11% superannuation. So I think that works out being roughly, take away the superannuation, I'm probably on about 137, maybe just over.
Okay, and you get paid. So you get paid monthly?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so it's the middle of the month, so it's every 15th, but it was 14th, 15th.
Okay, So you're earning, and compared that to a carpenter sort of salary, like with the hours and everything you're doing. I hope this isn't too personal, mate, but I just figured I'd have to ask this for the listeners. But when you were working as a carpenter in your previous job, when you were a supervisor, how many hours were you doing a week, and roughly what were you earning? Just rough.
So I was doing heaps. I would have said that probably the salary would have gone up by now, but back then I was on $82,000 a year. And I was working heaps. I mean, like, I wouldn't see the kids in the morning, and I'd barely see them in the evening as well. I mean, like, by the time I would leave at 5 a.m. and I'd be back maybe like 6 p.m., 6:30. So I'd see the kids maybe for 45 minutes, and then they'd be in bed, and then that's it. And I'm exhausted as well. I was exhausted, so much traveling. And I think that's why I just got over doing what I was doing. And I was like, I need something to change. I mean, at the time, it was a 2-in-1 roster, which 2-in-1 is basically two weeks away, 1 week at home. That's not really a family-friendly roster. I wouldn't recommend probably doing it to anyone. I mean, like, some people like to do it for the money. Obviously, the money is good, but yeah, it's not really family-friendly. But for me now, I do 8 days on, 6 days at home, and to me, that's a great roster. It's a great roster. Like I said, I earn, touching on obviously what we had said earlier on, obviously the money is good, but also as well, for coming back and just having 6 days off. Well, I know it sucks to be away for the 8 days and be away from the kids and Leigh, but at the same point, you come back and you have 6 whole days off. And when you're back home as well, no matter what role you do, there's another crew that's in. So there's another crew that worries about what's going on up at work, so you don't have that worry. Oh, yeah. You don't bring the stress back home with you.
Yeah, well said, mate. I guess that's really important. So, and everyone else would be, is it common for people to have families, or is it lots of single blokes? The mining industry in Australia has been taken from certain parts. I know Kalgoorlie mine was one mine where it was very male orientated at one point. Is it, are they nice family people, or is it, or what's the culture like there, Michael?
I think the culture is good. I bet, obviously when I first joined, I was a little bit, it's a bit daunting. I was nervous. I sort of didn't really know what to expect. I'm from the UK, and then going up into the mines, Australia, sort of have a picture in your head what people might be like. But
what was that picture, mate? What did you feel they were going to be like?
Probably a bit arrogant, how, look at me, I'm the miner, I do this, and, I earn this much money, and just that arrogance, I reckon. That's what I thought. But as soon as I got up there, everyone was super, super friendly. Just, I was made to feel so welcome. Like I said, FMG, who I work for, amazing company, really family oriented. They really try and touch on family. That's one of their that's actually one of their values that they have up there, is family. So, any dramas at home, if I need, they would just try and get me on the plane, on the next plane that they could. I can't actually fly on weekends. So they don't actually, I do, but you have to travel quite far to go get a plane. So normally it's just Monday to Friday. So, but like I said, they're just very, very family orientated. Like I said, made to feel welcome up there. And I get on with everyone up there so well.
Where do you so if you had your, I don't know, if you have a birthday party, or not birthday party, if you have birthday, Michael, and do you sit down with a few mates, have a beer, or if you're away, what's it like?
Yeah, so in the morning. So in the mornings when I wake up, my usual hours when I'm actually up there, normally the shot firers go in early. So typically I'll probably set my alarm for 3 a.m. I wake up, have a quick shower, go get breakfast. Breakfast normally, you have a choice of your cereals and your fried breakfast as well, bacon, eggs, and everything. So they have a variety of them, and obviously it's not the best. Obviously, it's not like what you would get at home, but nevertheless, it's free and it's food at the end of the day. So you go to a place. So you go to a kitchen area, like a dining room, where everyone just rocks up in the morning. Yeah, so they call it the dry mess. So you have the wet mess, which is typically where people go have drinks, the tavern, the bar. but they call that the wet mess. And then obviously the dry mess is where we typically go get our lunches, and that's where people will go have their evening meals as well. And then, like I said, so in the mornings I'll be at the dry mess. I'll make my lunches and stuff. And then,
sorry, Michael, just come back a bit. So the company you work for, they go into the dry mess to get their breakfast. Anyone who's working on the mine all goes in there, or is it just set up by the company?
Yeah. Anyone who works there. So typically on our site, on the mine, the camp, we have about 2,000 people that work at the camp. So yeah, every morning, and you would think it'd be quite hectic in the morning, but it's actually not. It's actually quite quiet in the morning. You go in, you can have your breakfast. Like I said, they got cereal, they got porridge, anything you really want. They've got it there. And like I said, it's not the best, but like I said, it's free.
It like a hotel sort of thing, Michael? Like, you go like a Premier Inn and grab a feed in the morning. Is it like that, mate?
Yeah, exactly like that, Wes. Obviously, like the same toasters that they have in the hotels. The conveyor belts that they have. So, like I said, identical to probably what you said, being a hotel. And then from there we just we have like a little supervisor bus, like a little early morning bus that we jump onto, and we go to the pre-start. And like when we were touching on the birthdays in the mornings. If they know it's your birthday, the supervisors will sort of say it's so-and-so's birthday, and I actually share a birthday up there with someone else, so they mention both of us, and everyone sort of gives everyone a clap as well and says happy birthday. And then in the evening, once we finish work, we'll go up to the bar and have a few drinks, and then and that's it. And then obviously we're only limited to 4 drinks a day, and they've got to be mid-strength as well. So
how do they control that, mate?
So you have you actually have a SAP. They call it a SAP card, and it's basically just a blue card really for us. And it's every single person who works up there has like a number ID. So and it's just 6 numbers. And basically what you do is you have a little barcode on the back for your name. So what you do is when you go up and you go get your drinks, they scan the barcode and it actually comes up on their screen how many drinks you've had. So say if I went to the bar and I was to go grab 2 drinks, and then I went back up later on after an hour to go get some more, and I tried to get another, say, if I went to go get 4, as they would scan my card, it would actually flag up saying I've already had 2. So that's how they control it. I mean, like, there's probably people up there that try and use other people's cards and obviously try and get more, but it's I mean, like that's their only way really of trying to regulate who has and how many people have their drinks.
And because I reckon that was where people the perception of miners was, from me being an Aussie, was always you've got the big guy with the beard, maybe a bit, I don't know, covered in like dust and everything. Again, this is just my little memory of miners. When I was down in Esperance, they would come in, but the drinking culture was just crazy. Like they just used to just get absolutely hammered. So it sounds like over the years, the mining industry has really cracked back on all that, and they've probably made it more family orientated, more friendly. Are there people that have been at the mines for a while? Do you ever speak to them and get an insight of how much everything's changed?
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, like I said, there's quite a bit of turnaround up there. So probably you'll only be speaking to people that's probably been there max maybe on 10, 12 years max.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like, obviously when you do speak to them, the mining culture was definitely different in back in the day. Completely different now. I mean, like even when I joined, you were allowed 6 drinks, and then they changed that to 4. And I think, like I said, they're just trying to make, I guess the mining companies just in general are just trying to make it a little bit more, like friendly, I think, for everyone, not so much just a male dominated industry. It's turning more into sort of like they really want females up there. There's a massive big drive to try and push for female leaders and more females as well to actually be within the mining companies, because like I said, it was and sort of still is really a very male dominated industry. But nevertheless, like we are starting to see a lot more females coming through, and like we have there's quite a few females actually within our department now. So it's sort of good to see.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that it's leveling out. Let's go back to your day, mate. So you go into the dry room, you get a feed, you jump on the bus. How long are you on the bus for, mate, before you get to the ground?
So camp to our pre-start room is around about 10 minutes, like about a 10-minute drive. And then from there, really, it's sort of getting there. Shot firers, we, at the moment, sort of a little bit different. It chops and changes from what we do, but at the moment, we go in early. And we have a night crew as well. So you have night shift there, and you'll have another shot firer on. They get the explosives out, and they actually, when I say throw out gear, but they sort of they prime up the holes ready to go for you, so you don't have to do, because that's actually quite time consuming. And by what I mean by priming up is when I said about the booster and the detonator, when you thread that through, you click it in and you throw that down the hole. And then we have sticks, and you tie them off onto the sticks, and then obviously then we load the bomb into the holes. So the night shift crew will actually prime up the holes, ready for the bomb to go into the holes. And then that actually saves a lot of time. But because you can't leave explosives unattended, that's why the shot firers will go in early. So that's why I say I will go in early. And then pretty much I'm sort of there by myself, really. I just have to wait for my crew to come along, and then for the day, once my crew's arrived, that's it. It's quite hectic, It does get very.
How long are you there for, mate? From when you get on the bus to like when do you get the feed and all that? Like lunch.
So you mean obviously from the moment we get to the pre-start room to, like, say I'm on the shot? Do you mean that?
Yeah. Yeah, so when you start working, how long? Because we mentioned days. I don't think we've covered how many hours a day that we do in the day.
Yes. So typically it's a 12.5-hour day. So like I said, so our bus will leave at around about 4:15. And then, by the time, as soon as I get there, 10 minutes, that's 25 past. I'm straight into an LV, into a car basically, and I just drive straight to the shot. And it depends we have different pits. We have 4 different pits within the mine site. And some of them, like one of them's 45-minute drive to get there. And so, they're spread out quite far, actually. So, typically, obviously I will probably get there around about 10 past 5, maybe. I'll get to the pit that I need to be onto the shot. And then, typically I'm just waiting around, really, until my crew come, which normally with my crew coming, because they come in a bit later, they get there around about 6 o'clock, I would say. And then pretty much, from about 6:30, that's it. It's all guns blazing, just constant all day.
All right. And then, so you get back. What do you do when you get back, mate?
Usually I will probably just go to the bar, and I normally just have a drink, or maybe like 1 or 2 drinks. To me, it's just a good time to sort of wind down. I think during shot firing, sort of you don't realize how sort of mentally draining it can be doing it, especially in the heat as well. Especially now, we're coming into the wet season, and it's
how hot is it, mate? What's been the temperature last week?
So last week it was around about 42 degrees.
Wow!
But when it's peak summer, we'll get up to around about 47. But not only that, it's when you're stood next to the trucks that are obviously putting the bomb into the hole. When you're stood next to those trucks, you've obviously got the heat coming off the engine. And actually, last year we had one of the guys had a thermometer as well, so we checked the temperature, and the temperature read 58 degrees. Stood next to that truck. That is hot. So I mean, like, and the flies as well. The flies can get a little bit annoying this time of year. They're just starting to come back out. But like I said, it's it does get tough up there, and like I said, mentally draining as well, especially except the heat. So end of the day, I just like to go have a drink or 2, sit down with the guys, just have a chat. We don't even speak about work. It's just nice just to wind down, forget about work, and then typically from there I'll just go grab some food, and then just head back to my room, really, and just have a shower, chill out.
Because they provide access to gyms and all that, do they, or not really?
Yeah. So they actually at our campsite, they have an AstroTurf where you can go play cricket up there, soccer. Like girls can go play netball up there. They've got a swimming pool as well, massive swimming pool there. They have their gyms. They have a women's only gym there as well, actually, which has got locks on it. Obviously all the women will have the code for that lock, but and that's what I think is quite good as well. I mean, like some women don't like to train in front of the guys up there, and I think to have facilities like that where it's just women's only gyms and stuff like that, I think it's sort of
it's like a working resort, mate.
Yeah.
You go to work for 12 hours, you come back and everything's prepared.
It's not too bad. I mean, like the food's not as good as what you would get here. The food's pretty average. I mean, like definitely could be worked on with regards to making that a bit better. But
what do you mean? Is it repetitive sort of food? Like every Wednesday is like a hamburger, or is it just seems like the chefs have got no effort?
I just find it's just a bit hit and miss, really, with regards to what you get. Like some days, on Fridays, everyone calls it Fish Friday. Fish Friday is a good one. We get beer battered fish with chips, and sometimes they have lasagna there. So a Friday is always a good day for food. But then, just like the next day, you might just have meat with vegetables, and some of the potatoes are raw. They don't even. It's because everything's all just done in pressure cookers up there.
I think if you're a vegetarian, you'd find it harder. That's one comment that I hear. Like if you're a vegetarian, it's quite tough to find the selection up there.
I would say that as well. I think if you're a vegetarian, it would be very, very hard up there to. You could do it, but it would be hard.
Well, yeah, I guess it would be. Well, I guess you're in control because you don't have like a menu when you sit down. You have like a smorgasbord, correct? And you just pick and choose whatever you want, or the variety is really not there. So if they're serving lasagna, that's what you've got. Or do they have like lasagna and a couple of other mains?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so they'll just have they'll have a heap of fish there. They'll have lasagna. They'll have vegetables and stuff. Like I said, the food is free. So it's not as if we pay for the food, but it's just not the best. So obviously some people might think, well, at the end of the day, it's free food. So why complain? I'm not really complaining as such about it. I mean, like it could do with getting improved, but at the same point, it's just okay. It's not your home cooked meals. I normally tend to take up food with me because I'm only there technically for the 8 days. I normally take 7 days worth of food up, so I have that as my lunch. Just so I have it's just a bit of home comfort, really. I take up spaghetti bolognese, meatballs, whatever I feel like, chicken and rice. I cook that up on a Monday, so I fly out Tuesday mornings. So I'll cook that up Monday normally, and I'll just stick it in the freezer, and I'll just put it in a cool bag and take that one up with me on the plane. And then, just put it straight into my freezer in my room. So every room has a TV and a fridge in there.
So you get your own personal room, or do you have to share?
So we share. So they call it back to back. So pretty much I have a back to back in my room. So when I fly in, he's flying out. So when I walk into my room will normally be messy. The duvet will be everywhere. There'll be all this rubbish scattered around everywhere, and it's not very good walking into your room and being like, oh. But when you get back, they have the cleaners there. Everything's all clean, tidy, and that's it, really. I mean, I don't actually know my back to back. I don't know the person in that room.
Yep.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you get lucky and you're back to back with someone who you know within our department. But whoever I've got, I don't have a clue who that person is. So. Yeah,
so you get TV, freezer. Do they give you a kitchen? Like, can you cook your own stuff or
no? No, you can't cook your own stuff. If you go to the laundry room, they have a microwave in there. So if you need to heat food up, they have water as well in there and ice, like ice machine. So you can go fill up, have your drinks there, and obviously use the microwave. But no, I mean, like if you want cooked food, you'd be going to, like I said, the dry mess or the wet mess. Up there, they have a little room up there where people have their drinks. They actually have a little sort of like a barbecue area where people can go grab food from there and just take it back to their rooms. But most of the time, if you're not having drinks, you'll be going into that dry mess and you'll be picking up your fish, your lasagna, and then, like I said, other nights will just be roast lamb maybe with some veg and potatoes and a bit of gravy. It's just random foods every night. You can actually sit and actually order like a piece of chicken. So you can actually sit down, write down that you want chicken. They'll cook you up some chicken or steak. They do steak as well, so they can cook you up some steak. But sometimes I just don't really have the time for that. I mean, by the time you get back, you're so tired from work. You're so mentally drained. You just want to get in, eat your food, and get straight back out and get back to your room and just chill. That's all you want. You want a bit of peace and quiet. That's how
and Michael, internet and everything like that. So you can speak to Leigh and the kids when you like, or you can't. But you can only speak to them when you're back in your room.
Yeah, so I can only really speak to them. It depends. Usually, when you're doing shot phone, I can't leave the shot, and I'm not allowed to have my phone on the shot. So, I can't really speak to Leigh. Normally, I don't actually speak to Leigh or the kids until I'm back in my room. That's why I'm usually in a bit of a rush to try and get back to my room so I can actually catch the kids before they go to bed.
And again, this is a bit personal as well, but the relationship with the kids, you went from one role where you were earning less money, you were waking up early, getting home later, but at least you were home. Is it challenging for the kids to sort of say, look, guys, I'm going to be away for 8 days?
Probably not for Zach and Maisie, because they are, Zach's 11 and Maisie's 9. Nelly, I tend not to say that I'm going to work on the Monday night, because usually she's sort of, I don't want you to go to work, Daddy, and then she can get quite upset. It's a bit hit and miss. Sometimes she's okay with it, sometimes she's not, and I don't really want to put her in that mood when she wakes up.
You've met her mum, haven't you, mate?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I don't want to put her in that mood where she wakes up in the morning, realizes that I'm not actually here, and then she sort of gets upset, and then it's hard for Leigh then, because she'll probably start crying at school, and then it just makes things a bit difficult.
It's easier as she's getting older, isn't she?
It is easier, yeah. But like I said, it's obviously you work away for the 8 days. Like, yes, it sucks to be away for the 8 days, but at the same point, when I do come back, I do have that quality time with them. I get to do school run. I get to do school run every single day that I'm back. Well, apart from the weekend, obviously, but I get to do a school run Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Monday, and pick them up from school as well. If I was doing Monday to Friday, but especially the job I was doing before, there's no way I'd do that. No way. Unless I had annual leave, I wouldn't be picking up the kids from school. And I get to do that every other week now. Every other week. And, you sacrifice. And I'm fortunate enough that I managed to get a couple of days off. I've got some days off for Nellie's birthday, but I'm working away on Christmas this year. This is the first Christmas I will be away from the kids and Leigh. So, it's not. Yeah, it's tough.
That is tough. I mean, look, lots of industries are required to work shifts. Your firemen, your nurses, and all that sort of stuff. I'm not going to have a crack at the teachers, Leigh, because we know they get lots of holidays. My wife's a teacher, so they've got to be careful. But lots of industries work shifts. And it's part of it. And when you're speaking to them, it is routine. It doesn't matter what country you're in. If you're working shift work, it's not ideal. But it's great to hear you talk, Michael, about when you get home, you get those 6 days quality time with the kids. Lots of people would love that. I know for me, the importance of having, the Friday before Christmas till the 1st of January in the industry that we're in, migration, lots of people want to move to Oz and we're always busy. But mate, that 6 days is like the best of my life, where I can just kick back and relax, and you get that every a couple of times a month, which is good, man. I think it's cool. And do you take up a hobby? Did you sort of get in, take up any extra sort of hobby like golfing, or are you doing something with the 6 days when the kids go to school?
Oh, well, yeah, try. I say golf, but I mean, occasionally I'll go play with my friend. He's quite into his golf. He works away as well. He's at the same site as me, but he does a 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So I only line up with him sort of once a month. So which is obviously a bit difficult. But yeah, sometimes I'll go play golf with him. I go to the gym in the mornings. Yeah,
house,
yeah, really, it's just like stuff around the house. I mean, like we've done renos on our house, and yeah, I just sort of potter around the house when Leigh's not working, or if she's on a Friday, she's done her morning's work. We've got the rest of the day then until we pick up the kids. So we go off and we go have a drink somewhere and maybe a bit of food, a bit of lunch. Yeah. So I get, it's quite nice as well because I do get some sort of quality time with Leigh as well without the kids. So, like I said, there's pros and cons about working away. I mean, like to me, I don't think that I could probably go back to working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. I think I'm so used to this. Like the money's great. The time, like I said, I have 6 solid days off, which I do not stress about work. I just shut myself away from work. I can just literally worry about the kids and Leigh. I get to do school run. I get the quality time with them, especially when it's school holidays as well. It's, I have that quality time if Leigh's working. I can take the kids out by myself and just have that, bit of daddy time with them.
Yeah, sounds awesome, mate. Like, honestly, It sounds good. And you sound settled, Michael, as well. How have you been working in the mines for now?
2.5 years now.
Oh, that's gone quick.
Yeah, it's gone really, really quick. And like I said, I will not be, I won't be coming back and doing anything unless obviously carpentry suddenly has a massive growth within the money and how much people get paid. But no, I mean, I said for lifestyle and money, what I do now, it works for us actually. It works really well.
Well, you've got the miner's mindset now, haven't you? That's what lots of my mates did. They all went off and did, when we did apprenticeships, they went off to the mines, and the mining industry sort of got shot in the foot a little bit, and they came back and had to do jobs, sort of factory jobs, I guess. It didn't pay as much. But you're lucky. You hold your Australian qualification. You won't lose your skills as a carpenter. Is it common for other miners to sort of go back and do a few bit of cash work or work on the tools of their previous occupation? Do the boys talk about that much?
Yeah, 100%. There's a guy at work called Darley. He actually comes back. He does. He used to have his own landscaping company, and he went up working in the mines because he wanted to sort of get his shares and get the bonus every year and just have that regular income. But yeah, every break he will come back, and without fail, he's working, and he'll probably work 3-4 days. So he'll only have 2 days off, and then he's back at work again. So yeah, a lot of people do that. Yeah, a bit of cashy work on the side. So
is it a young man's industry? I know heaps of blokes that have gone over there and just done it to say, like to get their mortgage, to get their house deposit done.
No, I mean, no, it's hard. It's pretty tough. I mean, like you're working in peak summer. That's like 46 degree heat. Have absolutely heaps of flies covering you. Like I say, it's not really for the faint-hearted, really. And I think if you go work there, you've got to expect to work hard, work in those really hot conditions, and it's not easy. It's not easy to do it. So if you are younger, I say if you're younger, you would cope better. But in saying that, a lot of young people, really young people, like 18-year-olds, I've seen them come up to the mine sites and they've just crumbled. You just watch them; they just crumble because it's too hot for them, and you see them and they just get dehydrated. And dehydration is probably one of the biggest things that actually people just get swiped out for, because during the daytime they think, oh yeah, I'm okay, and then suddenly it's dehydration just kicks in, and that's it, and you just watch them just crumble. And a lot of the young people just, I don't think they're very sensible. So I guess it's a bit of a difficult one. I said you've got to be sort of like young, fit, and healthy, but saying that if you're sort of like 30 or even 40, as long as you're fit and you're healthy, normally those are the ones who will sort of make it through and last a lot longer, because you've got a different mindset when you're in your 30s or you're 40 years old. I think your mindset's completely different when you're young and you're 18 and you're 20. You just have that, the mindset of you're just up there for the money.
Yeah, you're learning, aren't you, at those ages when it's your first job. You do what you do because you don't know any different. Yeah. Now you've got the luxury, mate, of getting back on the tools as a carpenter. Sounds like it's distant. So if you've got someone, thinking about coming over, they're going to arrive in Australia, would you suggest they sort of get the family settled, or if they got a job as working on the mines, would you feel that they would have any issues adjusting to being away from the family and getting the family settled?
I think when you first get here, probably it wouldn't be the best thing to do that, because it depends who you are. I mean, everyone's completely different, but I mean, I think if I was to come over here and just go straight to working up in the mines and be away, I do think it would be hard. I think Leigh would have found it hard. I think the kids would have found it hard. And you never know. The mindset might change where you might think, actually, this is not what I want. Not what I want from Australia. Is, maybe I want to, people might start thinking, I want to go back to the UK. I want to go back to, living there. I don't want this anymore. And I think that would probably be my worry if I was to go working away. I think at the very start, what I did was great, because I was back home in the evenings. I was there to support Leigh, especially everything was all new to us as well. It was all a massive learning curve. But I think once we had been here for, a year and a half, I think, by then you've sort of settled into life here, met people, met friends. And I think that was my time that I thought, you know what, I'm comfortable to go working away, because we had friends. Leigh had friends. I didn't feel guilty about leaving her alone, because I know that she's got other people here that she can call on if she needs any help. So I think the best thing I would say is probably get yourself settled first. And then once you're settled, you've met your friends, kids are settled in school, and life's sort of ticking along nicely, I would say maybe if you want that career change, yeah, why not? Have a look into it, see if you can do something.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, like you say, it's one of those things, mate. If you got the courage, I guess, to come to Australia and change that life, you know that, and you know that you can always go back home. It's like anything. If you want to take a break from the industry, what do you call it, mate? Before they get their shirt, give it a go, see if you like it, and if it's not for you, just go back to your job. You really got nothing to lose. But, mate, also, before we finish up, I've got to ask you, what's this about you taking all the kids' cookies?
Yeah, I know. Leigh will say that I eat all the cookies. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I do eat quite a lot of biscuits. I'm not going to lie. But like I've always said, I work away. I work away for 8 days. I come back for 6, and that's my time to treat myself. So I don't really mind where. So I don't really care what Leigh says. Anyway. If I want to eat some cookies, they're mine.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you guys, worry about that. But Michael, thanks heaps for sort of giving us a bit of an insight, mate, of the life of an Australian miner who's a migrant. I guess it's so many people ask us about it, and the pros and cons are there, aren't they? You sort of, you have got an opportunity to earn a bit of money. You mentioned a bonus before. Like, is that $1,000, $2,000? What's a bonus usually?
Well, this year my bonus was $19,000 before tax.
$19,000.
Yeah, $19,000 before tax. Yeah. So when I take away the tax, because you get stung quite a bit at the moment, so I get taxed 30. I'm in the tax bracket of 37%. So I think I ended up with a take home of 11,300, and that was a take home.
Not a bad bonus, mate, when you think about it, going to work, doing your jobs, because you've got the perks. I mean, like, you got the food is being paid for, your accommodations covered in that time.
Correct, yeah.
I mean, you're lucky because, you've got an amazing wife and kids and all that. You've got a place. Do other than miners, what do they do? If they don't have a place to go, do they just like Airbnb it, or do they have do people set up like a little shared house where they sort of alternate it?
No, not necessarily. I mean, a lot of the people here, they come back. A lot of the people actually have families. If they don't have families, I actually know of someone who just they were renting, but then obviously they actually do a 2-in-1 roster, which is 2 weeks away, 1 week at home, and it didn't really make sense because they're paying every week when they're at work. So actually what he's decided to do now is just do Airbnb. So yeah, when he comes back for his week off, he just hires out Airbnb and actually just goes, and I think it's quite nice because he can just go pick anywhere he wants and just go to a random place, get an Airbnb and just go live down there for a week. And it's just, I think actually doing something like that would actually be quite cool. I mean, like personally, if I was single, probably, and if I was doing 2 and 1, I would probably do the same actually, because that way you get to experience different parts of Western Australia. Well, within Perth, should I say? But you get to experience different places. I would do that probably if that was me. But
it's cool, isn't it? Like, I reckon it gives you your freedom. Like, I'd love to be able to. I don't know. I guess the flies, the heat, it does take its toll. I couldn't imagine doing it for 2 weeks. I think 8 days would be long enough, because when we talk about flies, it's not like 1 or 2. It's, you're surrounded by them all day. Do you wear like a hat with a net and all that?
Yeah, it does get a little bit annoying though, wearing those fly nets. I mean, like for me, as long as they're not going into my mouth, I've got neck socks as well. So I've got a sock basically that goes around my neck, and I can actually pull it up over my mouth and my head, and just literally just have my eyes showing. So with my hat on and stuff like that, that sort of tends to work for me. But yeah, you do get fly nets up there as well. But the fly nets they just get a little bit uncomfortable. You can't really see properly out of them. But yeah, like I said, it's not 1 or 2 flies. It's absolutely heaps. You are covered on your back. You're literally covered in flies. So it's like I said, it's not very nice, but it's something you've got to deal with. But equally as well, the flies can get annoying as well. Even when you get back home in Perth as well, they can be quite annoying when they just pester you constantly. But it's just
you don't reckon it's got nothing to do with you being covered in cookie crumbs or anything, mate?
Might well do, Wes.
Maybe take the cookies out of the pocket. No, mate, it sounds like you got a banging job blowing up everything in the mines. And it sounds like you've been able to create a really good work-life balance for the last couple of years. So thanks again, mate, being a migrant who's done the move and is now working as a miner. So wish you all the best with it, mate. And we'll probably check back in 6 months or a year and catch up and see how it's all going, if there's any changes that you guys have done. How does that sound?
Yeah, for sure, Wes. Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Oh, cheers, Michael. Cheers, Leigh. And thanks, guys, for listening and tuning to the next podcast. All right, catch you later.
Cheers, Wes.
Yeah, that was good.